All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Jack Graham here, Realtor with Simply Vegas, bringing you today another housing market update for the Las Vegas Valley. We have some interesting news right now because obviously interest rates have spiked quite a bit. And I wanted to give you a little bit of an update on what's happening in the market, giving you my personal view based on what I'm seeing with my buyers and my sellers, and also giving you a little bit of data directly from websites that show you everything that is going on with the market. Anyway, let's get into this video really quick. First off, we have big news on the interest rates spiking up to now the 10-year treasury yield is at 3.404%. That's as of today, which is September 14th. What does that mean for mortgage rates? It means that we are up at over 6% mortgage interest rates on a regular 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Okay, APR at 6.184. APR includes also your expenses to do the loan. Okay, so 6.075%, so almost 6.1% on the 30-year fixed rate. That is quite high. We haven't seen those highs and up ever since June of 2022, so a few months back. So now in fact, it closed at 3.48 back in June 13th. But then we do have today that is September 13th, at least, no, September 14th at 3.4%. Okay, what does that mean for the market? What does that mean for the real estate market? How do we approach this situation? Okay, let's go through that. If we look at the Redfin data center, and then we'll confirm this data with the MLS directly. Okay, so we're not just going to believe Redfin because sometimes their data is not the most accurate. So Redfin shows here the new listings in all Redfin metros, but we're going to go specifically to Las Vegas. Just in a second, let's look a little bit on the national side, what's happening, and then we'll go into detail about Las Vegas because Las Vegas is a different market. It's not the average market. We are in a highly volatile market which means when everything is good, prices skyrocket. When everything is bad, we get hit more compared to other places in the United States. Look, for example, at the 2008 crash when we had over here in Las Vegas some prices down as much as 40% versus average nationally we were down 20% on prices, right? So anyway, nationally right here we're looking at 2019. That is the black line right here. So just comparing it with the other the other years, we're looking at the new listings. So the amount of listings that came on the market right here, we have the amount of listings, and this is the time frame, right? So we have January, February. Right now we are in September, so we have approximately nationally 83,000 new listings, which is down compared to 2021, which is the orange line, and we had a lot more listings back last year at the same time, which was 100,000 listings. However, we did have a lot more buyers as well on the market, which offset a little bit the amount of listings. It's normal. The more listings you have, the more buyers you have, because it's the same people that are selling a house, most likely they're buying a house, and then having the interest rates last year at 3% for a mortgage, for a 30-year mortgage, really helped to bring out a lot of buyers. Okay. Anyway, this is on the national side. Let's look at the median sales price and what we're at for that. So as you can see, median sales price, we were back in January. We were looking at 348,000. Then it started going up all the way until May. We had in May $394,000 nationally, which is 13% up year over year. But then we had a correction nationally. Now we're down to 370, still 6% year over year up. Fluctuations like these are not rare. They do happen. When you look at the national market, look at this, for example, back in this was 2020. I guess this is the pandemic, so it did go down, but we do have it during winter and summer, when in the summer we have higher prices overall nationally. So we do get these swings, but right now it's a little bit It's not a little bit. It's unusual that we see this kind of dip, and the only reason why we're seeing this dip is because of the interest rates going up. Anyway, long story short, that's the median sales price. We're down approximately, so 370 at the peak. We were at 394. So nationally, that was 400,000, 24,000. Down. So that's about 6% down from the highs that we had back in May. Now you have to consider this data is always, delayed. Like the data that you're getting today is most likely from homes that sold 1 to 2 months ago, right? They got under contract 1 to 2 months ago. That's when people locked in their interest rates. But, so it has a little bit of a lag of 1 to 2 months, but it gives you an idea of where we're going with the market, right? So back in May, we were at, 394. Now we are at 370 nationally. So down about 6% nationally. Now let's compare that with Las Vegas specifically, and then I'll pull up the data from my MLS. So pending sales, also want to see nationally. Hold on. Pending sales, that's pretty good. That's pretty average, Look at the blue one, 2019, we had less activity even than what we have now nationally. So really healthy market as we expected. Nationally, we're good. Not a big deal. But what's happening specifically in Las Vegas? Let's pull up the metro. Las Vegas. So, Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's see what's happening. Okay. So, as far as new listings coming on the market, we have less and less listings coming on the market. Now, what does this mean for the market, first of all? If we have less home coming on the market, what does that mean? We have less inventory available to sell, which means if you're looking at the supply and demand, equation, if you have less supply, that brings up prices. However, the reason why we have less supply is because people cannot move. They're going to sit in their home. They're not going to move from their house because they have 3% interest rate on their mortgage, if not even 2.5% that they refinanced maybe last year. And they're not going to move out of their house to get into another house and get a new mortgage with a 6% interest rate. So that's definitely bringing down the amount of inventory coming on the market. But also we're going into the winter season. We are past the school, now the school started. Activity tends to go down. As you can see in the other years here, orange is 2021, red is 2020, and then blue is 2019. As you can see, these are the winter months. It goes from the summer from the high amount of listings on the market, about 1,200 here, going down to, for example, 674. So that's quite a decrease in amount of listing coming on the market. That's normal for the season. And as you can see here, not only we're getting a big correction because a lot of people were freaking out right here, listing their homes on the market thinking, oh, well, let's get this house on the market. That way we can go ahead and get rid of it. So all those people that were on the line, whether they should sell or not, figured out, hey, the news started sending out the message that prices might go down, and we're at the peak and everything. So everybody was freaking out and putting their houses on the market. And we got in Las Vegas up to 13,000 homes on the market in the month of, I think it was June. Yes. In the month of June. And we'll go over that data to see what we have right now. I think we're at about 10,000. So the inventory is going down. People are still buying, but not as much, Anyway, we're down an amount of homes on the market quite a bit. It's going down, but nothing crazy out of the ordinary, kind of like what we had here in 2020 with COVID. But still, we're lower than what we expected. And it's kind of like a knee-jerk reaction to the craziness that we had in June. Anyway, that's about the new listings coming on the market. Now, what about pending sales? How many homes are going under contract? And if you look at this, we had back in April, this pending sales is really the most up-to-date data that you can get, because what they consider is the homes that are under contract at the moment right now. So they're not lagging a month or 2 months behind because they're giving you live data. So if we look at this one right now, we're looking at, hey, back in August, August, we had 494 listings, under contract. Now we're at 515. There's a little bit of a, change of direction right here, where more homes are going on the market. At the same time, there's less listings going off the market. The market is switching a little bit. However, this happened when? And you look at this, if this was August, that means people that got under contract right here were, this was happening here in August, but that was when interest rates were at, look at that. We had this correction in interest rates. Right down here, we were at about 5.5% mortgage interest rates. Now we're back to 6%. So what I think is going to happen right now, because of this increase in interest rates, we might see a little bit more of a correction right here, where we might see still the downtrend going down a little bit, kind of like following this blue line in 2019 until next year. Then depends on what the Federal Reserve does with the interest rates. If they decide to bring them up even more or down, that will, show us how much. I mean, real estate is still going to sell. We're not going to get crazy price corrections, but we are going to see a big amount of activity if interest rates start going down. So the amount of activity is going to change depending on how high interest rates are going to be. Anyway, this is for the pending sales. Now we're going to look at the home sold and the median sales price. So home sold, as you can see, kind of related to that pending sales. We see an uptick here. We were at 560 homes here in August, going up now in September at about 610 that are sold. So it's getting up there. A little bit more activity we're seeing in the market, kind of like not a correction, like going back on track with what the norm is. So, which is good news here when it comes to the real estate market here in Las Vegas. Now, median sales price, very, very important here. This is where we see quite a big correction in Las Vegas compared to the national average, which was 6% down, right, from the peak. Now we have a peak right here in the median sales price of $455. Okay, which was up 24% year over year. Crazy, right? But now we're down to $415. So that's $40,000 off of the peak. Okay, which means 40,000 out of 455. That's approximately 8.5% to 9% down. That's more than the 6% nationally. So why does Las Vegas get affected more than that? And there are a few reasons we can speculate about that, but logically thinking, I would say the reasons why that is happening is because Las Vegas is more of a transient city. A lot of people are coming here because of, the work from home. And ever since the pandemic has pretty much ended, nobody talks about masks anymore and anything. Rarely do I see anybody with masks. Since that is over, now people are going back to work and office. So a lot of people are not really moving here anymore because they don't have the option to move to work from home, which we saw that big exodus from California coming out here to Las Vegas, taking up all the inventory and bringing prices up. Versus right now, that could be a big factor in that. Also, as well as the regular reasons why prices are kind of correcting, which is obviously the interest rates going up. So if you are on the market right now, you're selling your house, don't freak out. This is normal. We probably have to adjust your listing price because the reality of the situation is, if your house is worth $455, for example, at least you could have sold it for $455 back in April, March, April, when interest rates were 3.5%. Now you cannot sell that house for that much anymore. You're going to have to sell it, for example, for $415, which is what the average price of the house is today. If you are overpriced, you're going to have to wait until the market catches up with you, and that could take a while. We don't know when that's going to happen. In my opinion, next year, but who knows what the interest rates are going to do, right? Anyway, that's what's happening here with the median sales price in Las Vegas. So prices are down approximately 8.5% to 9%. So keep that in consideration. Now let's go in the MLS and look at what the MLS is showing us as far as the data, if it kind of matches or not. And as you can see here, entire MLS, so we're looking at 410,000 average sales price. It was at the peak for 445, 410, so that's about 35,000 correction. That's better than Redfin, because 35,000 off of 455, that's a lot less. So about 8%, 7.5%, I would say, correction from the highs. So definitely we're seeing that correction. At least this is the data from the MLS. Now it's more accurate obviously than Redfin. I'm not sure what data they use, but it's pretty on par. It shows the same graph pretty much. Anyway, we're down here. It says 7 to 8%, which is what I expected. I've seen some deals, however, going under contract right now. We're looking at some really sweet deals out there. I mean, these buyers that are buying right now, whoever is blessed that has the opportunity to buy right now is getting some crazy deals on the market. We're talking 10, 15% off on the standing inventory with the new builds. So I don't know if that's really going to go down that much prices, like if we're going to see that data show up like that. But I could easily see the 10% correction from the highs, which, again, 10% corrections from the highs. We're talking as this is like a stock, really. It's going up and down like a stock, real estate, which is crazy. We're looking at January. We were at 400,000 average sales price in the valley. Right now, we're at 410. We're still up since January. So even if we see another correction, we're still at the same price as January. We're not looking at some crazy, downturn or whatever. It's a correction, right? If we get over 10%, well, that's the definition of a correction. Once we get over 10%, that's when we can talk about a crash, which is prices correcting more than 10%, which means we would have to be at approximately 390 or so to break under that 10% and have a whatever everybody calls a crash, right? Now, how what does that mean for you guys? Let's look at hold on, I need to go over the new listings here. Let's see what we have. As you can see here, we are in August. We have 5,606 listings. Oh, and this is for all properties, okay? So if I go to single family homes, now we're looking at 4,275 listings. Sales price for single family homes was $480 on average in the valley, down to $450 right now. So home prices have corrected a little bit less, actually, single family homes compared to the rest. So we're looking at multifamily or condos that, or manufactured homes and all that stuff had corrected probably more. But right here, we're looking at a correction of 30,000 over 480. That's about 6%, 7%. So we haven't seen big correction in the single family market. Yes, there's a correction, but not too much. Let's look at the pending sales. Oh, look at that. We were down to only 1,898 sales in July. That's low. If we zoom out a little bit to a few years ago, we have to go back 2 years or so. In April 2020, we had that, that little of, closings. Or we have to go back to December 2018. Obviously, in the winter, we get that. You see, every December here, we have less sales. That's normal, right? It's just that here we're getting these sales already in July, which is unheard of, right? It's not supposed to be the case. So we might see something like this right here, what we had in 2020 here. We had, December. We might see some kind of graph like this is what I'm thinking. Anyway, we're getting lost in the data a little bit. So let's go back to what this means for you as an owner. And let's look at the months of inventory right now, how many homes we have on the market currently. This is in the entire MLS of Clark County, so North Las Vegas, and Henderson. We're looking at the amount of homes is 10,758. We're down with the inventory, which is healthy for the market, means less homes on the market to sell, which means prices are going to stabilize. If they stay like this or if they go down, you might see a little bit of an increase even. Well, if we look, however, on the pending sales, So we go to residential. We look at only the homes that are under contract, or yeah, right here, the ones that are under contract. And we look at 3,294, so 3,300, still about 3 months of inventory. We are in a normal market. Voila, it's crazy, right? People think everything is going to hell, but we're in a normal market. It's just the problem is convincing people, convincing sellers that have been on the market for a while that, you know, we don't have the same market that we had 4 or 5 months ago. That's the issue. I have the issue right now with one of my clients trying to explain the situation that we don't have the market that we had 5 to 6 months ago. Right now, we are actually a few of my clients. I have 2 now that I can think of, where we have this listing on the market and it's not selling, and we're not getting any showings. That's because we're priced based on the prices that we had 4 to 5 months ago. Okay, that's not realistic because the current market is completely different. 6% interest rates, you can't buy the same home that you would buy back 4 or 5 months ago. And that's the issue. That's why we dried up all the buyers. There's no showings. Anyway, that's the pending homes. What does this mean for you as a buyer as well? So as a seller, you have to understand, look, this is the reality of the situation. We're down 6-7% from the highs. We need to bring down that that sales price from what it was to 6-7%. As a buyer, what does that mean? Well, if you are comparing right now the houses that you're looking on the market right now, and you're saying, hey, this house just sold 3 months ago or 4 or 5 months ago for 20, like whatever, the 450, for example, right? The average sales price, and you're putting in an offer for 450, there's something wrong. You're doing something wrong, because you should be able to get at least that 6 or 7% off, if not even more, because some people are ignorant and they're discounting their prices quite a bit. So for example, all my clients that we're getting under contract right now, we're getting approximately a 10% off from the highs. That's because we're looking for the good deals that are going to get them, are going to make sense for them. Yes, you're getting a higher interest rate right now. You're going to be getting a loan for 5.5%, 5.75%, 6%, depending if you buy down your loan or not. But you're getting 10% off of the highs, which is a sweet thing. That means if interest rates start going down again, you're going to see those prices come back, and you just made 10%. You just paid your house 10%, less. Regardless, however, what's going to happen is payments are going to go up. Okay, that's something I've been repeating to people. The affordability is not going to get any better. We have rents going up big time. I mean, look at February 2021. The average monthly rent in Las Vegas was $1,472. Okay, so if you were renting a 2-bedroom condo, it would cost you in June 2022 $1,472. Now, the same condo, same 2-bedroom condo, if you were to rent it right now, in June 2022, what is this? There's something wrong here. Okay, there it is. So for February 2021, so last year in February, the average rent, so let's say that 2-bedroom condo was going to cost you $1,472. Right now, the same condo, just a year and a few months after, it would cost you $1,867. That is approximately $400 more on your rent. Okay. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm renting and I had a lease on the place and I was paying $1,500 a month, you better watch out. Unless you have a really good landlord that doesn't bring it up $400 your rent, you're going to get probably some kind of rent increase. If you get a rent increase of $100, call yourself lucky. Some people are getting these increases 20% up, 30% up. And that's because the market requires it. All these people are waiting to get a condo. They will die for the amount that you're paying for, or even $200-300 on top of what you're paying for. Therefore, owners are raising rents. Okay, what does that mean for pretty much you in the future, what you want to do. Should you buy a home? Should you not? And that depends on your situation, obviously, like always. But really, you have to look at this rent right here. This is not locked in for 30 years. The average mortgage right now for you would cost you $2,400 compared to last year, which would be the average mortgage was $1,294. That's double. That's crazy, right? So the amount that it will cost you for the same house, that's also because prices have gone up in the last year. They've gone up 20%. On top of that, interest rates have doubled. So you're getting this kind of payment. But what does that mean? One of the two, these two lines, you see how they diverted since January? Okay? Ever since January, they diverted so much. I don't know if they're going to divert even more. But at some point, they're going to meet somewhere. And most likely the answer is they're going to meet somewhere in the middle. We're seeing already the correction. Right here, this is pretty much home prices times interest rates. That's what this result is. Okay? So how much you paid for the house and the interest rate that you're getting on it. This is the payment, $2,433. This is pretty much a result of this, which means if you were to buy a home today, you would pay $2,400. And what's the alternative? You can rent for $1,800. Okay, let's go for it. More people go onto the market to rent, which brings down the inventory for rent and brings up rent prices. We're seeing rent prices steadily go up. We're up right now $400 over a year and in a few months. We might get another $400. And that's the thing about renting. You're never locking in a rate. You are at the landlord's mercy how much your payment is going to be. Your wages are not going to go up as much as rents and inflation is. So you're going to be stuck with that payment forever, with whatever payment that the owner gives you. Now, if you get a mortgage and you get a higher interest rate at $2,400, you can always refinance when interest rates go down, bringing this down to maybe $1,800, okay, with the 3% interest rate. But a worst case scenario, you're locked in for 30 years at $2,400. Now, I don't know about you. This is a question for you, but you have to understand, okay, am I good here? Is this a good deal and lock in for 30 years? Or should I stay here and see and ride the rental wave up? That's a question that you need to answer. But I think with prices kind of adjusting now, maybe we get that 10% correction total here in Vegas, so down another 3-4% maybe. Throughout the end of the year, especially with these interest rates going up right now a little bit more, it might correct a little bit more. And then in the next year, I don't know, it depends on the interest rates if they stop raising them or not. It really depends what's going to happen. But it might correct the prices a little bit more. But one thing is sure, payments are going up, rents are going up, inflation is real. Doesn't matter what the Fed does right now with the interest rates, inflation is going to keep going up because it's not like you raise interest rates, everything is cheaper now. No, with higher interest rates, it comes also higher housing costs, which is 33% of the inflation calculation, right? So if you see prices of living going up, inflation is going to go up the numbers as well, which means Federal Reserve needs to bring up the rates even higher. And what does this cause? It causes unemployment because it's going to slow down the economy too much. Businesses are going to hurt. People are going to hurt, people that are employed. And what's going to happen is they're going to have to lose their job at some point if they keep bringing up interest rates. And that's probably the only tool that the Federal Reserve has to fix the issue that they caused in the first place by printing a bunch of money. But that's another argument that we need to, address. But anyway, I think I covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover for today's market update. I just want to give you guys some numbers, give you a little bit of insight on what's happening on the market. What I'm seeing myself is that, if I'm representing a seller, I need to go in and tell them, set the expectations right. Look, we're not at the same place that we were 4 or 5 months ago. You can't sell the house for that much. If you need to sell a house, you have to sell it for lower. Now, on the bright side, if that same person is buying, yes, they're selling for less, but they're also buying for less. Okay, so they'll be able to lock in a lower price, a good deal on a house, because there's not as much competition from other buyers on the market, giving you a good opportunity to purchase. If you have been waiting to buy a home and you didn't buy during everything that was happening throughout the last 2 years and the craziness that we had with the low interest rates, then it might be a good time right now to buy and get a good deal on a house. If interest rates go down, you better run to get a house as soon as possible. And that's probably what most people are going to do. So you're going to be in a situation where all the inventory is going to be sucked up really fast. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. Please let me know down in the comments what you think about this one, what your thoughts are, where the market is going. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'll try to respond to all the comments that I get down there. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. And I'll see you on the next one.